Hey guys, welcome to a quick little Valentine's Day video. I just thought I would show you the top, I was gonna say 10, but really I'm gonna have more than 10 books on here because some of them are tied. Like there's a 4-way tie for 9th place. So I've got more than 10 books because I wanted to show you just some of the top romance books in our library. So we'll start with, in a series, this is number 10, most checked out. We'll count down 10 to 1. This is We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han, which is the 3rd in the Summer I Turned Pretty series. So the fact that this is on the list means that people love this series. Like they're not just loving book 1, like they make it through the whole series. Next, forewarning, spoiler alert, you're about to see a lot of Colleen Hoover on this list. And here's our first Colleen Hoover at number 9. Oh, there's a 4-way tie for number 9. So Layla is one of them. We actually have a couple copies of this book. I'm surprised we even have one in right now for me to even show you. The worst part is Amazon only has the, there's a note in the front, only has the paperback version, so I have to cover them and they don't last very long, so that's kind of sad. Next for number 9, still for number 9, 9th place is The Last Chance Books by Kelsey Rodkey, and I've read this one. I think there's only like 2 books on this list. No, 3, I lied. There's actually 3 books on this list I have read, which is shocking because I don't read romance books like ever. But I have read this one because I wanted it to be like Book Lovers by Emily Henry, which I DNF'd and did not like at all. And that's what I wanted this book to be. So it's like rival bookstores, which I absolutely loved. Next is another book I have read, also tied for 9th place, which is Field Notes on Love by Jennifer E. Smith. And the only reason I read this book, well, it's also really short, was because it was one of the, I think it was a KBA book. It was some sort of award, like Kentucky Book Award winner or nominee. And I was trying to get through a bunch of those and read them one summer just when I had the chance. So this is one of the ones that I read. Oh, and I will say this is almost more realistic fiction than romance because it's really about these 2 teenagers dealing with their problems and not so much like the romance. But it was a really cool premise. I won't tell you the plot of all these because honestly I don't know the plot of all these. But this one was about like this guy who bought a plane ticket or a train ticket with his, like for himself and his girlfriend, and they're only in their names. But when he breaks up with his girlfriend, he still wants to go on the trip, so he's got to find somebody else with his girlfriend's exact same name so that they can still go on the trip together. So he puts out an advertisement, and this random girl goes with him because she also wants a little bit of an adventure before she starts college and stuff. So they're kind of more, like I said, dealing with their issues. Next is because I promoted it, not because it's new or anything, but it's The Boyfriend List by E. Lockhart, who also wrote We Were Liars, which I actually really enjoyed, so maybe I should read this one because the subtitle is 15 guys, 11 shrink appointments, 4 ceramic frogs, and me, Ruby Oliver. Yes, that is actually the subtitle. So it does sound pretty fun and whimsical. Like here's the 15 guys on the back, which is kind of funny. So it's like her list of boyfriends. I don't know. I'm guessing there's a funny story about each one. I also think it might be a series, which is kind of interesting, but it's really short, so I might actually read this one. That's it for number 9. So now number 8 is, maybe I should move these out of the way so you can't actually cheat and see them. I don't know if you can or not, but This Girl by Colleen Hoover, which is number 3 in the Slammed series. So you can expect to see the others in that series on this list, of course, as well. So we're reading a lot of romance series on this list. So I am shocked again that people are making it through the first 2, so much so that they are like highly checking out number 3. Next is, no surprise, Love and Gelato. This book remains popular to this day. It is quite old. I say quite old, I mean like older. 2016, so the fact that it's still so popular in 2024 is pretty exciting, but yeah, this always gets checked out. Next is one of our most popular books that we always have in our library, like it's always on the top list, even just for checkouts in general, not just for romance, and that's Every Day by David Levithan, which is also a movie. I've still yet to read this book, although I promote it all the time. I do so many book talks, and I show the book movie trailer for it and hype it up all the time. We have like 20 copies of this book. It's always checked out, but I've never read it. Next is To All the Boys I've Loved Before, which I think it's a TV show, right? Netflix series or Amazon series? I'm not really sure, but I'm sure it's the popularity of the show too that helps keep this one. Oh, it says right there, Netflix, duh. This is a nice follow-up version of it. This whole series remains still very popular to this day. I lied. That was actually, To All the Boys I've Loved Before was number 5. I skipped number 6 and 7. So Every Day was number 7. Also tied for number 7 is Regretting You by Colleen Hoover, that we just don't have right now in our library because it is checked out. And number 6 was Point of Retreat, which is the 2nd book in the Slammed series, and it is also currently checked out. So 5 was To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Now number 4 is Slammed, the 1st in the Slammed series, obviously. And we also don't have this one right now because it's currently checked out. But all of the Colleen Hoover I've showed you are ones that Colleen Hoover herself have said are either geared towards young adults or are appropriate for young adults, and that's how I chose which Colleen Hoover books to purchase for the library. So no, we don't have all of them. I just did which ones that she said were really for young adults. Number 3 is It's Not Summer Without You, which is the second book in the Summer I Turned Pretty series. And the fact that this is the number 3 most checked out book kind of tells you that number 1's gonna be on here somewhere too. Number 3 is actually Without Merit, which we don't have a copy of. It is our second most popular Colleen Hoover. You're about to see the first one in just a minute, but this one has been flying off the shelves, which is why I'm shocked that we actually have the number 2 romance is actually on our shelves right now, and that is Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. I think we have like 6 copies of this book, but they're usually always checked out. In fact, one just fell apart the other day and I had to weed it, get rid of it. So number 2, and I think this is actually one of the top, I think, what was it, number 4 or 5 of every genre that was checked out last year. So it will remain, I'm sure, very, very popular. And number 1 is The Summer I Turned Pretty. That is shocking to me because this, of course, is a somewhat older book, but I know it's because of the TV show. So let's see, this came out in 2009, and it's also by Jenny Han, who wrote To All the Boys I've Loved Before. Funny story, I did read this book not last summer, but the summer before. And let's say it was the summer I turned against romance books because I didn't like it. It was okay. Like, it was definitely this little like love triangle. But honestly, like, I'm reading a book right now, The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And if you're going to do a love triangle, I want to do it like the way she's doing it, where it's, with other stuff going on. It's not just a romance. Like, it's actually kind of a mystery thriller book, but then there's a love triangle also, which I enjoy. But I was not a huge fan of this one, but I can see why kids like it. I would say it reads pretty young. I mean, I think like even freshmen, like 9th graders could read this, maybe even middle school. Like, it was definitely for like younger teens. So those are the most popular romance books in our library. So happy Valentine's Day. Hope this was interesting to you. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what your thoughts are. So anyway, I will talk to you guys again later. Bye.